Men, you've been deceived. Women don't always end up in bed with a man because of looks or love. It goes deeper than that. It's hidden subtle, and most men never recognize it. In this video, I'll uncover the 4 secret motivators that drive women to sleep with men. Forces rooted in psychology, status, rebellion, and emotional escape. If you don't understand these, you'll keep getting caught off guard. 1. She sleeps with the man who makes her feel seen. Forget the Hollywood fantasy that women sleep with men purely because they're attracted. The real hidden driver, what most men overlook, is emotional validation. A woman wants to feel noticed, desired, and valued. And when a man gives her that emotional high, it flips the switch inside her. Think about the modern woman's reality. She's flooded with male attention online, likes, comments, DMs, but it's hollow. It's surface level validation that feels cheap. Then she meets a man who looks at her differently, who's fully present, who makes her feel like she's the only woman in the world. That man slips right past her defenses. Women are far more emotionally driven than men. Men can separate attraction from emotion, but women rarely do. If you make her laugh when she expected dullness, remember details others forget, or ground her with a calm presence she can't find elsewhere, she feels something beyond flattery. She feels chosen, and that feeling is intoxicating. Here's the truth. It doesn't matter if you're not her type. Emotional validation beats physical attraction every time. You've seen women with men who are shorter, older, or less conventionally attractive. Why? Because those men triggered her need to feel special. The Stoics understood this well. They taught that humans aren't ruled only by logic but by passions. When a woman feels validated, emotion overrides reason. She'll even go against her own rules, whispering, "I never do this," while her actions tell another story. Most men make the mistake of overdoing it. Too many compliments, too much chasing. That's not validation, that's suffocation. True validation comes from presence and restraint. It's noticing what others miss. It's affirming her worth without losing your own. That balance is rare. And that's why women sleep with men who master it. The real driver isn't lust, it's emotional validation. When she feels seen, her body naturally follows. 2. She sleeps with a man to break her own rules. The second hidden driver is rebellion, using sex as a form of escape, to defy her own standards, or to rebel against the expectations others have placed on her. Men underestimate how powerful this is. Many women live inside invisible cages, family pressures, social conditioning, the good girl identity. She's expected to behave, to be proper, to follow the script. But desire thrives on rebellion. When she meets a man who represents freedom from her cage, sleeping with him becomes an act of liberation, not lust. That's why bad boys always win more than their looks should allow. It's not the tattoos or the attitude. It's the aura of defiance. They symbolize danger, freedom, unpredictability. For a woman trapped in routine and rules, that energy is irresistible. By giving herself to that man, she feels like she's reclaiming herself. But rebellion isn't always wild or reckless. It can be quiet. She might be engaged to a safe man yet cheat with someone who reignites the parts of her she buried. She might swear she never sleeps with anyone on the first date, until she meets the man who makes her break that rule. That's not hypocrisy. It's proof of the rebellion instinct. Stoic philosophy warned about this. Humans act against their own values when passion overtakes principle. When a woman rebels through intimacy, she's not thinking long-term. She's chasing the rush of breaking her own limits. Here's where men get burned. Confusing rebellion for love. Just because she slept with you in a wave of defiance doesn't mean she's loyal. You were the spark that broke her cage, not the man she'll build a future with. And when that thrill fades, she may go back, or find another rebellion to chase. Many women won't say it aloud, but they've slept with men not out of love or even attraction, but because it felt like freedom. It wasn't about the man, it was about the liberation. So while validation makes her feel valued, rebellion makes her feel alive. And both can push her into bed long before logic ever would. 3. Status and social clout. Sleeping with men for power. One of the hardest truths for men to accept is that sometimes women sleep with men not out of attraction, but out of status. Desire isn't always about you, it's about what being with you represents. Humans are status-driven, and women are especially attuned to hierarchy. A man with influence, money, or social clout doesn't just bring himself, he brings access to a higher tier of life. When a woman sleeps with such a man, she's not only satisfying her body, she's elevating her social rank, even if just for a moment. Think about celebrities, athletes, powerful businessmen. Many aren't even attractive, yet they never lack attention. Why? Because being with them gives a woman a sense of importance, ego boost, status, and sometimes real benefits like money, connections, or bragging rights. The Stoics called these externals, things outside of virtue that people chase to feel worthy. A woman driven by externals views intimacy as a currency for clout. She's not pursuing the man. She's pursuing what proximity to him signals. She wants to be the woman who got him, because it separates her from the crowd that couldn't. That's why some women move within specific social circles. She may not like the guy deeply, but he represents access to the lifestyle she craves. To her, the act is transactional, intimacy in exchange for status. Here's the danger: if you're the man with status, it's easy to mistake her hunger for power as real desire. She'll act affectionate, maybe even obsessed, but it's not you she's after, it's the prestige you carry. And when a higher status option appears, she won't hesitate to move on. Sometimes it's not even about money, it's about reputation. She might sleep with the man who's the leader of her group, the one other men respect, because by being with him, she absorbs that energy. The bottom line: if her attraction to you is rooted in what you represent instead of who you are, she's driven by the status dynamic. And as the Stoics warned, anything built on externals crumbles once those externals vanish. 4. Emotional escape. Using sex as therapy. This final driver is the most tragic, and explains why women sometimes sleep with men who make no sense for them. It's not validation, it's not rebellion, it's not status, it's escape. Life can feel heavy. Many women today carry unresolved pain, loneliness, or emptiness. Instead of confronting it, they seek moments of distraction. Sex becomes a coping mechanism, a temporary relief from their inner storm. A woman might sleep with a man right after a breakup, not because she's ready to move on, but to numb the grief. She might give herself to someone she barely knows, not out of passion, but to quiet the loneliness for a night. For her, intimacy isn't about him. It's about silencing the noise inside. That's why many women later admit to sleeping with men they didn't even like. The act wasn't about attraction. It was about therapy. For a few hours, she feels wanted, grounded, connected. She escapes her own thoughts. From a Stoic lens, this is the most dangerous one for men. Because you can become her coping mechanism. She'll lean on you not because she values you, but because you're a distraction from her pain. And when that pain fades, or a new distraction appears, she'll disappear, leaving you wondering what happened. Pay attention to timing. If she rushed into sex right after a breakup, a fight, or an emotional breakdown, that's not attraction. It's escape. Men who mistake escape sex for genuine interest always end up confused. Here's the hard truth. A woman who sleeps with you to escape herself will never stay. Because once the high wears off, she's left facing the same emptiness she ran from. You were just the bandage. So while validation, rebellion, and status all shape attraction in different ways, this final driver, escape, is survival psychology. It's not about you. It's not even about desire. It's about her desperate need to silence her inner storm, even if just for a night. And that's the brutal truth most men never realize. When a woman sleeps with you, it's rarely just about lust or love. It's about what that moment means to her, what it fulfills psychologically. Maybe it's the validation she's starving for, the rebellion she's craving, the status she's chasing, or the escape she desperately needs. Each one is emotional, not logical. And this is where men go wrong. They interpret her actions at face value. She slept with you, so she must be into you. She opened up, so she must care. But the hidden motives often have nothing to do with you as a man, and everything to do with how you made her feel. That's why emotional detachment is essential. The Stoics warned us to never base peace of mind on externals, on things outside of our control. A woman's emotions, impulses, or decisions all fall into that category. You can influence her feelings, but you can't own them. And if you attach your worth to how she responds, you've already lost control. Understand this: when a woman desires you, it's not just your looks or charm. It's because you activate something inside her, something she may not even understand herself. You become the mirror reflecting what she wants to feel: seen, free, powerful, or numb. But your power as a man lies in not being consumed by that dynamic. You can recognize it, understand it, even use it, but you don't let it define you. Because the same forces that pull her toward you can just as easily pull her away when they shift. The modern man's edge isn't manipulation, it's awareness. When you see these hidden drivers clearly, you stop overreacting. You stop chasing every mixed signal or emotional high. You stop confusing validation for connection, rebellion for chemistry, clout for love, and escape for intimacy. That's when you rise above the chaos. You start seeing women, not through fantasy, but through understanding. You interact from strength, not need. And that shift changes everything. The Stoics had a phrase: control what you can, accept what you can't. You can't control why a woman desires you, but you can control your reaction to it. You can choose to stay grounded in reason while the world moves on emotion. That's what separates a reactive man from a centered one. So remember, most men play the game blind, thinking sex equals interest and attraction equals love. But the wise man sees deeper. He understands the psychology beneath the surface. Because when you can see the hidden reasons behind her desire, you stop being manipulated by it. You stay calm, you stay unmoved. And that, men, is what real masculine power looks like. See, the world today is full of men who understand attraction on a surface level, but not on a psychological one. They memorize lines, learn techniques, or follow dating strategies, but they never learn to see. And that's why they keep repeating the same cycle. They attract women through chance, not through awareness. But once you understand these 4 hidden drivers, validation, rebellion, status, and escape, you begin to recognize patterns everywhere. You start to notice the woman who flirts not because she's into you, but because she's trying to prove something to herself. You recognize when she wants to feel seen, not necessarily connected. You sense when her attention is about what you represent, not who you are. This awareness doesn't make you cynical, it makes you calm. Because when you see reality clearly, emotion loses its grip. You stop reacting, you stop chasing, you stop trying to earn desire that was never about you to begin with. And that's where the Stoic edge comes in. The masculine man operates from stillness, not from chaos. He observes, he interprets, but he doesn't attach. When he feels attraction, he stays centered. When she tests him, he remains grounded, because his peace doesn't depend on her behavior, it depends on his discipline. Understand this, a woman's desire will always be emotional. Yours must remain rational. Her attraction can change with mood, validation, or rebellion, but your foundation must stay unshakable. That's what makes you rare. That's what separates men who are ruled by female approval from men who command respect without chasing it. So, when you see her pull away, when she tests, when she gets lost in her emotions, don't react with desperation. Respond with composure. Remember, her actions are reflections of her inner world, not yours. Most men never reach this point. They stay stuck analyzing texts, overthinking signs, and reacting emotionally to female behavior. But the man who sees the psychology behind desire, he's free, because he no longer takes anything personally. The Stoics taught that wisdom isn't about changing others, it's about mastering yourself. And that's the essence of masculine power. When you control your emotions while others lose theirs, when you stay grounded in truth while the world runs on impulse, you rise above the chaos. You become the calm in her storm. And that calm, that presence, is what she truly craves but rarely finds. So learn these dynamics, study them not to manipulate, but to understand. Because once you do, women stop being mysteries, and attraction stops being random. You see clearly. You act deliberately, you live from strength, and in a world of emotional chaos, that clarity makes you unstoppable.